Pawan had married the love of his life, Sarah, and welcomed his son soon after his marriage. He couldn't control his tears when he held his boy Ajay in his arms for the first time. The man worked as a manager at a company while Sarah stayed at home to look after Ajay. Together, the couple gave their son everything he needed. They thought he would grow up, go to school, graduate with a degree, and land a good job like everyone else. Until they learned about fate's plan, when Ajay turned 4, the doctor diagnosed him with an autoimmune condition with no cure. They told Pawan and Sarah there was nothing they could do to save the little boy. Please save our son. We are ready to pay whatever it takes. Pawan begged the doctor. I am sorry, sir, the doctor apologized. Your son's condition has no cure. We suggest you take him home so he spends the last few days of his life with you and your wife. Pawan and Sarah visited multiple hospitals with their son, but all doctors told them the same thing. They tried their best to save their child's life, but nothing worked. After taking Ajay home, Pawan and Sarah decided to donate his organs after his death. We will see him live in the other children. That's the only way we can keep our son alive, Pawan said. It was not easy for the couple to come to this conclusion, but they thought this was the best way to honor their little one. They wanted to give him a lifetime of happiness, but fate had other plans. Once they informed the hospital about their plan to donate Ajay's organ, the management connected them with the parents of a dying girl who needed a heart transplant. Do you think we should go ahead with this? Sarah asked Pawan. We can save the girl's life at the cost of Ajay's. Pawan nodded while tears trickled down his cheeks. Deciding to donate their son's organ wasn't easy, but the thought of saving other children's lives motivated the couple to go ahead. The heart transplant surgery went successful, and the little girl got another chance to live. Her parents thanked Pawan and Sarah. We are forever grateful to you, they said. Meanwhile, Pawan and Sarah grew apart after their son's death. Every corner of the house reminded them of Ajay, and it was getting difficult for them to live in their home. Pawan would often leave the house in the evening and sit in the nearby park. Over there, he would close his eyes and take deep breaths, hoping it would ease his pain. One day he returned from the park and saw Sarah standing at the doorsteps with three big suitcases. Confused, he asked her where she was going. I am leaving, Pawan, she said. While looking at the ground, before Pawan could ask anything, a cab arrived and Sarah loaded her bags in the trunk. I don't have anything else to say, Pawan, she said. Before sitting in the back seat and shutting the door 6 years later, Pawan still couldn't get over Ajay's death. He lived in the same house where he had watched his son play with toys and had never seen his wife again after the day she left him. Mr. Pawan, I think you need to find an outlet to express your love for Ajay, the psychologist told Pawan. Years after losing his son, the man consulted psychologists to help him manage his grief. After a few sessions, the psychologist found a solution. I think you should adopt a child, the psychologist said. Becoming a parent again will help you because your love for Ajay is still in your heart. Loving another child will lessen your pain. Pawan nodded in the psychologist's office but was still unsure if he was ready to adopt a child. What if I lose this child like I lost my son? He wondered. After thinking for a few weeks, Pawan visited a child shelter to see how it felt being around them. When he entered the shelter, he felt happy to see so many children playing with toys. One girl caught his attention among all the children. He knelt beside her and introduced himself. Hi, I am Pawan. What's your name? He asked her. The girl raised her head and smiled at him. Then she stood up and ran to play with the other children. Her eyes are so beautiful, Pawan thought. Pawan felt drawn to the little girl, so he visited the shelter several times before deciding to adopt the girl. He completed the paperwork and waited for permission to take her home. Once his adoption application was accepted, Child Services called Pawan for a meeting. They told him that the little girl Juhi needed regular medical checkups once a month and asked him to sign some papers before allowing him to take her home. The man enjoyed Juhi's company and gave her everything she needed. When it was time for her medical checkups, he took her to the hospital, unaware that he would learn a shocking truth over there. After the doctors learned about Juhi's adoption, they thought it was necessary to tell Pawan about her health history. They told him she had heart transplant 6 years ago. He froze when he saw the details of the surgery. The date, the place, could this be? Pawan gasped for breath as he gripped his head. It wasn't easy to know for sure. But luckily, Pawan's contacts were able to verify the truth in just a couple of hours. Juhi, the little girl he adopted to give all the love he couldn't give his son, had his son's heart. Tears started to roll down Pawan's cheek when he learned Juhi was living with his late son's heart. He hugged the little girl tightly and pressed his ear against her chest to hear her heartbeat. That's my son's heart, he cried. My little Ajay. A few weeks later, Pawan thought of sharing the news with Sarah. Although they didn't live together, he felt she deserved to know that her son's heart was beating inside his adopted daughter's chest. Instead of calling her to break the news, Pawan recorded Juhi's heartbeat on a voice recorder and placed it inside a teddy bear. When Sarah received it, she couldn't help but visit Pawan's house. I am so sorry for leaving you alone, Pawan, she said. I just couldn't live here anymore because everything reminded me of Ajay. I can understand, Sarah, Pawan replied. But why did you leave me? I thought leaving this house was the best way to let time heal things, she said. I never wanted to hurt you. Pawan, I still love you a lot. After hearing her explanation, Pawan understood her feelings and forgave her. However, he still didn't tell her about Ajay's heart. After a few more meetings, Pawan offered Sarah to move in with him. There is something I want to tell you, Sarah. You won't believe it, he said. What is it? Sarah asked excitedly. Do you remember the girl who received Ajay's heart? Yes, I remember her. She is my adopted daughter, Sarah. Pawan smiled. Her parents died in a car crash, and the authorities took her to a shelter. What? Sarah burst into tears. You mean she has my little Ajay's heart? Oh my. After meeting Juhi, Sarah accepted Pawan's offer and moved in with him. The couple lived together like before and raised Juhi like their own child.